A controversial right-to-work bill passes the Indiana House of Representatives, but the political battle continues.
Now, that battle has even found its way here to the Wabash Valley. News 10's Joe Ostrowski has spoken with both sides of that fight. He joined us now with more.
Joe, what can you tell us?
Mark, Patrice, both sides of this issue, both sides of this argument have been making their arguments for weeks now. Supporters of right-to-work say that forbidding mandatory union membership will attract jobs to Indiana and increase personal freedom. Opponents say that it'll weaken unions by requiring that they represent and train people who aren't necessarily paying union dues. In any case, the debate, though it stopped at the State House, is continuing around the state. After weeks of protests and parliamentary punches, Indiana's right-to-work bill passed the State House of Representatives Wednesday night. It was a move Republican leaders heralded as a draw for jobs and a victory for personal freedom.
The mission we set out to undertake this year in the House to address this critical job creation and individual freedom issue has been completed.
But by Thursday morning, the bill had drawn protests around Indiana, including this one outside the home of Representative Bob Heaton, who'd voted for right-to-work.
Indiana's going to be like Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, and Louisiana. They're going to have the haves and the have-nots because there won't be any good jobs here.
For his part, Heaton says he respects the views of the protesters and that, quote, each American and specifically each Hoosier should be able to voice their opinion and concern on issues facing our state. Union leaders say they plan to do just that, especially since the state Senate still has to pass the House's right-to-work bill and Governor Daniels still has to sign it.
We're going to continue to work and fight and make sure that we do our best to educate our elected officials and making sure they understand the impact that this legislation is going to have.
Still, the Senate has already passed its own right-to-work bill, and the governor's come out in support of the measure. But even if the bill becomes law, labor leaders say they'll fight to have it repealed.
We are still going to continue the fight. This is not a done deal. This battle has been going on for years and years. They've been trying to introduce that legislation over many terms, and they finally got their way this time, but we were going to continue this fight into the future.
Now, labor leaders point out that Indiana passed right-to-work once before, back in 1957. But that bill, that law, was repealed just a few years later. And labor leaders hope that if this bill becomes law, the same could happen again. Whether that happens, of course, you'll be able to find out right here on News 10. Mark, Patrice, back to you.
All right, thank you, Joe.